The fairy, me, has got her sparkle back, and if I can do it, so can you. In our previous conversation, I shared the 4-step process to get my life in balance again and to ensure abundance of focus, peace, and time after an unexpected family crisis. And golly goodness me, to use softer terms than I normally would, it's going exceptionally well. I feel happier, lighter, and more relaxed and intentional. Nothing has actually changed in my environment or situation, but I've been able to transform myself and thus my 3 key areas. I'm hoping that by sharing the simple details of my exercise, you'll be inspired to redesign aspects of your life that you're dissatisfied with. I'm the Forest Fairy. Welcome to my corner of the woods where I'm rebuilding, revamping, redesigning a magical life and hopefully inspire you to gather your own fairy dust. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fabulous week. It's still gloriously summer here, hot and dry with the odd humid day and the not so odd windy day. We're the only place that boasts a Mediterranean climate without actually being on the Mediterranean. Anyhow, let's dive in and chat about how I got my sparkle back after some really emotional and physically tough months due to an unexpected family crisis. The sudden decline of my mom, the packing up of her home and her moving in with me had me losing my ability to focus on my income streams, feeling rushed and anxious and riding an emotional roller coaster. Even when it got calmer, I still couldn't find my magic and mojo again, and a serious intervention was needed. Last week, I shared my customized intervention approach in our conversation, how I created peace and focus after a major shakeup. And today, I'll be walking you through exactly how I gained my balance in my focus, in my time, and in my peace again. In fact, I've noticed 2 important things. Firstly, that by feeling the feels, I noticed more coincidences, synchronicities, more of what I wanted was coming into my life. And secondly, that several emotions that I chose for these 3 areas overlap. And so they're becoming the feelings I'm focusing on generally for my life holistically. Relaxed, creative, joyful, and grateful. Of course, there are more emotions and times when the energy is high and playful and just delicious. Now let's get you thinking. I've come to realize that the time in my life when I could successfully focus on a multitude of roles and tasks is gone. Though in hindsight and with age, I now know multitasking is not as great as it was made out to be. But in our defense, Superwoman was a real thing back in my day. I can still rise to a task or challenge, but I find it hard to focus on several burning points as this crisis highlighted. 3 things felt as if they'd contributed to my lack of focus and as if I was starting the year on the back foot. Firstly, I missed a workshop. Secondly, my first week of the year only actually began in the 4th week of January. And to be honest, when I eventually could focus, I was bone tired from the physical work and exhausted from the emotions. How would an abundance of focus and finances make me feel? So I first created a high-level picture of myself sitting at a beautiful desk working on my income streams. Then I asked myself, which feelings would I use to color in this picture? How would I feel if my focus was laser sharp, my concentration excellent, and my finances flowing again? I would feel relaxed, financially safe, creative, joyful, enthusiastic, grateful, purposeful, and intentional. As I began basking in the feelings, I knew I needed to start somewhere, anywhere. A wise friend recently said that getting back into the flow of work just requires the first step, which will then naturally lead to more steps. It's similar to what the experts say. Commit to 5 minutes and that you'll find that once you've started, it's easier to carry on. So my first step was to haul out my schedule and, as creativity is one of my desired feelings, intentionally create a daily schedule that is designed around my hours of deep work and the hours that the carer is in my cottage. Secondly, I began to figure out the logistics of a desk. This is still a work in progress. It feels much like the COVID lockdowns when we had to figure out how to work from home with everyone at home. And the third step was getting back to seemingly unrelated practices again. Meditation, journaling, and walking. There is no doubt these make me feel more mindful, relaxed, and intentional. And then before I knew it, my creative juices were flowing. Challenges were getting new perspectives. Excitement started building and deep intentional work was getting done. How you find your focus may look different from mine, but you get the idea. Find the feelings and start taking even the smallest of actions to help get the ball rolling. A crisis, especially a family one, can often bring up a range of emotions from the lower part of that well-known spiral. And it's easy when your life is changing beyond your control for emotions such as fear, uncertainty, grief, worry, anxiety, and resentment to surface. And I was no exception. I was filled with the fear of losing my mother, anxious around the decisions that had to be taken, and overwhelmed by becoming her primary carer. But when the hecticness of the situation began to subside and my emotions didn't, I realized I needed to make some serious work of shifting them. How would an abundance of love and support make me feel? And again, I created a holistic picture of me and my life, and again asked myself, which feelings would I use to color in this picture if I was surrounded by love and support? I would feel joyful, playful, relaxed, grateful, delicious, cherished, seen and heard, supported and valued. While basking in the feeling of love, I also started intentionally looking out for the droplets and buckets of love that were in my life already. But aware that I could be missing or dismissing seemingly ordinary droplets, I had to ask myself some serious questions. Do I recognize the call from friends and family as love? Do I seek care and support in the supper dish dropped off by a friend? Do I make an effort when a friend tries to draw me out with an invitation? Do I realize that a swim in the sea is exactly the break my soul sometimes needs? And so on and so on. Questions unrelated to a family crisis but also related to love are, do you interpret a flourishing house plant as something that loves being in your space? Do you appreciate the coincidence of the unexpected discovery of a piece of decor? Do you notice the adoration in your pet's eyes? The feelings you want to evoke may be different and you may ask different questions, but the steps are the same. Feel the feels and recognize the droplets and buckets of love that flows into your life. Time was the third challenge I was experiencing. I felt rushed, anxious about everything that needed to be done, both around my mom's situation and my own life. But I knew my mom staying with me could be a more long-term arrangement than any of us expected. And again, I needed to halt and regroup. I had to embrace the idea that I have an abundance of time, that there's more than enough time for everything that needs to be done, and time for the things I just want to do. How would an abundance of time make me feel? My high-level picture, being able to do what is needed and what I wanted. And so I asked myself again, what feelings would I use to color in an abundance of time? How would I feel if there was always enough time and I never felt rushed? How would I feel if I knew that it's never too late and that the timing is actually perfect? I would feel relaxed, calm, joyful, unrushed, organized, creative, enthusiastic, anticipative. Knowing I had an abundance of time means to me that I need to apply some discipline. It would mean not flitting between activities, doing things as and when I feel like it, or being distracted easily. I am developing my work and personal plans over the next few weeks, and I've committed to doing them with a lighter heart, with an enthusiastic intention and a knowing and an obligation to add more fun. My schedules and plans will ease me into dedicated times for deep work, mom time, family time, and time to pursue my social activities and hobbies. Your life may not actually need a formal plan, but it's always wise to be conscious that your life is not just slipping by while you procrastinate, get distracted easily, or pedal the hamster wheel. So there you have it, the 3 areas I needed to redesign so that I could feel relaxed, creative, joyful, and grateful. Let me know in the comments what are your major feelings and how they influence the abundance in your life. Click on the icon on screen somewhere here if you missed the conversation, how I created peace and focus after a major shakeup, where I chat about the 4-step process to bringing the things you desire into your life. Wishing you a week filled with love, time and focus, and of course, sprinklings of fairy dust. Until next time, goodbye